Okay, so the recording is going now. So thank you for coming in. As I said, I'm going to start prompt like at 1:15 just because we have limited time and I just want to make sure we get through everything through here. So what I've done is I've taken a little screenshot first off up here of the Google Calendar that I have created. Now I post this Google Calendar every time I do an announcement on the class OLS. So as you go in the class, you scroll down right in the middle there, it will have the announcements. So as you see, Module 1 should be all done now. Okay, I think there's about 3 quizzes that you need to do, 3 videos you need to watch, 3 quizzes. That was due Monday. I zeroed that out today. Okay, so if you are failing right now, it's because you probably didn't do these quizzes. That's okay. Just go back, redo the quizzes. If you don't do so hot on it, go in, watch the video over again, retake the quiz, and get your desired score. Okay? Next, today, you're going to have everything in Module 2. So I think that's about 2 more videos and lessons that you need to do. Have it there. And then Module 3 will be due Wednesday. Okay? So it just kind of keeps going that way, and it goes fairly fast. So just make sure you're keeping pace. If you're not keeping pace, you're going to start hearing from me. I'm going to send emails, text messages, phone calls, whatever I need to do to get you to get in there and just keep pace with the class. As somebody mentioned previously before we started the recording, they asked if they can go ahead. I said go for it, right? If I've had people that have finished the class in about 2 weeks, if you want to go through and just hurry and take all the quizzes, go through all the content, get the desired score that you want, get that passing grade, I am more than happy for you to do it. I just want you to learn the content and learn it there. Okay? So with that being said, I do have a link right down here of the Google Calendar if you want to keep going. One thing to note, next Monday is Labor Day, so there is no live class, okay? I will be sending out a recorded lesson. It will probably post on Monday. I'll have it be posting that, but nothing's going to be due till Wednesday after that. So have that nice long Labor Day break. Hopefully you'll be doing something fun with friends, family, that kind of stuff, okay? Alright, so let's start rolling into the content here. What we're going to go over is lesson 1, or lessons 2 and 3 here. And what we're going to be talking about, we're going to talk about what's called trade-offs or opportunity cost, okay? So somebody says for Labor Day they're headed to Rock Springs. Fantastic. Yep, I am also going camping over the Labor Day weekend, so really excited about that. Okay, so can anybody tell me what a trade-off is? Oh, so question. Let's talk about that a little bit later about when graduation is. I don't have it on my calendar right now. Okay, what is a trade-off? If I were to trade something with you, what would it be? Options you sacrifice when you make a choice. Awesome, I love it. I love to see that. Okay, so for example, this will probably be a good one. So when I was young, I had a little family, okay? I had my first daughter, and I was going to school, okay? Well, I had to work a full-time job, and then I went to school at night so I could do that. So I time with my family, I had to do it so I could finish school, okay? Now I don't have to do that anymore, but it was beneficial to me to do that. Somebody was saying like a compromise. Yep, very good. So a compromise, being able to say, hey, if I do this right now, even though it's really going to be not very fun, okay, it's going to benefit me in the future enough that it's worth it, okay? It's a trade-off. Okay, so trade-offs. Because people can't have everything they want, they have to face trade-offs or alternative choices. Okay. So some people, like doctors, right? So is anybody wanting to possibly be a doctor? Okay. I know a lot of my friends. Okay, very good. Got a couple out there. I have a lot of friends that want to be, that were doctors or became doctors, but they went to school for like, felt like an eternity, like 12 years. So, yes, most of my families were nurses in the military. Very cool. Yeah, so that's a way to do it, but that's a trade-off is you have to sign a contract with the government, right, to become a nurse. Kind of want to do something like a doctor. Yeah, medical field, nursing. Yeah, so it's all going to take that, right? You have to make a trade-off. So, for example, I have some of my friends that are still $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 in debt, in school loan debt from becoming a doctor. Because you basically, that's all you can do. You got to focus on that for like 12 years in order to do it. So you may want to say, hey, I'm not willing to take that risk, but I do want to become like, I'll become a nurse, get like a master's in nursing, and basically you can be almost like a general doctor. You just probably don't make as much as an actual doctor that went to medical school. Okay, so you have trade-offs there. You have to think about what you want to do. Okay. All right, so let's talk a little bit about opportunity cost. Okay. So people often think of cost in terms of dollars, okay? But it's not actually just like a cost of how much like a CD is or an Xbox game, okay? To economists, however, cost often means more than a price tag. It also means like goods or services, okay? So opportunity cost is the cost of what you give up when one's choice is made over another. This could be money, time, or resources, either now or in the future. Okay? So for example, my friends that became doctors, right? They gave up a lot of money, right? They were in a lot of debt. They had to do that. They gave up a lot of time. Okay? A lot of time being away from their family, affected their relationships. It also a lot of resources, right? I have my one friend, I think he's funny. So he's balding even more than me. I'm balding quite a bit, but man, this guy like has hardly any hair, and he's younger than I am. And I attribute it all to medical school. That's what I tell him. So, all right. So somebody was saying supply and demand, right? Yeah. So when you're thinking about this, right, you want to look at what's going on in society and say, hey, are nurses needed if you're looking at coming in the medical field? Well, yeah. I mean, nursing's a huge field. Medical field's just going to keep growing, right? Same with doctors, right? But what else is needed, right? Daycare is going to be really huge. In the medical field as well, because you have so many people that are going to be elderly coming up. You have what's called the baby boom generation that's coming up. There is a shortage of nurses, just like Raymond said. Okay, so you want to get into a career that probably has that demand, right? And so if you do it, then you're able to leverage yourself to make more money over the long term. Okay. All right. So then you got to make a decision. Okay. Choices are not always easy to make, so you should really look at like a decision-making process as you're looking at what you want to do, okay? There's a couple ways you can do it, and that's what we're going to kind of go over today in our lessons here. Okay, so there's something first that's called the rational decision-making model, okay? So recognize and define problems and opportunities. So I like how you guys were thinking there on the chat. You put in like supply and demand, okay? So I'm going to make everybody have the same problem because you are all going to have this problem in life, okay? So you need to make money to survive, okay? So that's the problem. So somebody says communism. Okay, well, I guess you could move to a communist country if you'd really like to. But as you're in the United States right now, uh, your problem is you need to find some way to make money. Okay? So what's the problem? So we already know our problem. So we have opportunities to do that. So that opportunity is going to be what is your career, right? What you want to do. Now, let's be honest. Like I used to do like construction, right? And I like to work with my hands when I was younger and stuff like that. But it was hard work, okay? I remember carrying big, huge, what were there? Forms that weighed like 80 to 100 pounds and just carrying them down in the hole, and then they poured the concrete and I had to pull them back up, okay? I decided that's not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, right? So kind of think of what you like. What do you like to do? Do you like to be on the computer and figure out coding? Or what do you like to do? Okay, we had some people that said they'd like to go in the medical field. What are some other professions you might feel like you want to do? Put that in the chat real quick. What would you like to do as a career? Okay, so photography, okay. So you might want to see what kind of photography you want to do, okay? Air Force, so if you're in the Air Force, they're also going to have you have a job in the Air Force. So you want to figure out what you like to do as you go into the Air Force. Okay, so auto mechanic, fantastic. What type of auto mechanic? So small engine, diesel, that kind of stuff. Graphic design, very good. YouTube, I know a lot of people like entertainment is big and stuff like that, but you got to make sure you have a good mind to know what people want, right? That demand. Okay, fashion design, like it. Environmental science, good. Blacksmithing, cool. Cool, that's kind of a lost art, but definitely needed, I think. Multi-purpose, okay, so think about what multi-purpose means, right? Is it like a handyman multi-purpose or whatever? Cosmetology, okay. There seems to be always a need for that. Okay. Somebody said they're going to be a pastor. Okay. Very good. I think those are all kind of needs. So you got to figure out, where that need is and go from there. So somebody said a pharmacy tech. Okay. People need to have pharmacy techs. So there's a whole range of things that you can do. Okay. So you got to look for those opportunities that come by. So what you're doing right now is you're gathering relevant information, right? So you'll need to look and see what is the education that a cosmetology needs. What about blacksmithing? Okay, you got to go to an internship, an apprenticeship. Environmental science, what do you need? You basically got to assume things, right? So as you're making assumptions, like how much time am I going to have to put forth? What kind of sacrifices I'm going to have to make? So for those that want to go into the military, right? Well, you're going to be away from your family for boot camp, as they've been talking about there, right? You're going to need to have other specialty trainings where you're going to be away. You're probably going to be stationed away from home. There's other lifestyles that come with being in the Army, okay? So just kind of look into all of that and figure out the different things moving forward. Oh, come on. I have notices popping up. Okay. All right. So I know you guys all have a plan, and we hope that first plan works and you do exactly what you want to do. But you got to think about alternatives as well, right? If you can't do this because of X, what else can you do, right? And then also understand like the consequences of alternatives that you have. So this is just basically a model that you need to think through as you're going through this process of figuring out this problem, right? I need money to be independent. My parents don't want me to live with them forever. My parents are guardian. So what do I need to do? Okay, so after you've done all that stuff, choose and decide what you're going to do. You're going to implement it. You're going to say, hey, I'm going into the Army. We already had, who's going to boot camp again? Let's see here. Cameron. Yep, so you're going to boot camp. You're learning your trade. You get it. And then you also are able to just keep and maintain that thing. So following the policies, everything you need to do. Some careers require what's called continuing education. Be able to keep up to date on all the things that are going on, things that are changing, and going to there. Okay, so as you're kind of setting priorities as you're moving forward, I know we don't want to talk about all this grown-up stuff that that has to be going on, but we need to, okay? There's priorities that you got to do. So let's think about this. Let's take school for example. Right now, what's important and urgent, okay? So right now you may think the phone call that you are getting from your friend, or the text message that you're getting from your friend right now, or Snapchat, or whatever you want to do, it's urgent because it's happening right now. You know, how important is it? Well, you may think it's really important because, you know, it's talking about something. Okay, well, that's going there. But what's important but not urgent, okay? So right now we have a quiz that's due today. You know, it's not completely urgent, but it's important, okay? So what do you want to look at kind of doing there? So somebody said high school credits are more important. Yeah. Okay, so that's where I'm kind of getting to, right? Is if you're always living in what's happening right now, what's happening in front of you, you're not really able to plan for the future. And those that are like the most successful are doing what's important but not urgent, so they don't become urgent, and then you're just living like trying to put out fires all the time. Okay, because I've known a lot of people that they get there and they're like, what, I'm not going to graduate because I don't have enough credits, and it's just not, it's not cool. It sucks. Then you have to go through a lot of process making up things, and sometimes you're not able to do it because of that, or doing it in the time that you want. So if you're looking at those kind of important but not urgent things and starting to do those, get those checked off your list, things are going to happen a lot better for you. Okay, so here's another little bit that they want me to kind of go over, is this model, right? It says catch a vision for your life, okay? So I know this is kind of feels just like, oh, rah, this one you figure out, but it's important, okay? So catch a vision of who you are, what you can accomplish, and what you want to become, okay? So think about set goals, right? So a year from now, where am I going to be? Okay, so Cameron may be in the Army. Okay, fantastic. Okay, what about 5 years out? Where are you going to be? 10 years. Okay, 20. As you're kind of thinking what you want to do. And you're able to kind of catch that vision and kind of see, okay, this is what I want to be, and then you have to make that be of yourself. So somebody said just take it day by day. Yeah, I think you got to take it day by day. But you got to be working towards something, right? That's a long time to think ahead. Yeah, I agree, right? It is hard to think that far ahead, but at the same time, if you're looking for it. So, for example, we're going to be talking, one of the things we're going to be talking about, it's probably a long ways away from you guys, but we're going to talk about retirement, okay? You probably haven't even started a job yet, and I'm already talking to you about retirement. But most people are unable to retire at the age they want to because they never planned ahead, right? But there's some people that are, you know, at your age already putting money away, like into a Roth IRA or something like that. Okay, I'm just catching up on the chat real quick. Yeah, goal. Okay, I like that. So goal is graduation, and you're just taking it day by day. Very good. Awesome. Okay, so you're wanting to graduate too. And I'll have some in here, right, that are, I'm sure there's some in this class as well that are looking at graduating early too. So that may be something that you're looking at moving forward. Okay. So step number 2, right, as we said, kind of our big problem is to be able to be independent for ourselves, be able to be financially secure. So you need to evaluate your financial health. That's something that you want to do. Basically, you need to determine where you're at. Okay. If you don't know where you are, we're going to talk about different ways of seeing where you are. Okay, to understand your current situation. How much money are you making? Okay, where is the money coming in? How are you spending it? Okay, it's all going to require like your financial health is what they call it. Okay, so hopefully you can pour out your piggy bank and count some money and at least know where you're at a little bit. Okay, so we're going to define goals. I think we've already talked about this a little bit already. Okay, define your personal and family goals. So right now it may only be you, okay, but somewhere along the lines you may have a significant other, you may have children, and you might have to plan those into there. And let me tell you right now, having 3 kids are expensive, and your parents or guardians will tell you that. So having how many kids you have also might depend on your financial health too. Okay, so we're going to talk about this moving forward, but we're going to talk about developing an action plan, or what we like to call a budget. Things that we can do to protect ourselves, be flexible, have cash that's on hand, protect yourself through like insurance, be able to minimize like how much you have to pay to the state and federal government in taxes, and we're able to do that. And so those are some things that we'll be going over as we're developing this plan through this class. Okay, and that leads us to the end, and luckily we got through before our time is up. Okay, so if you do have any questions, please feel free to call or text me, or email. I also have my little website up here. If you want to kind of go through the class a little bit faster, it kind of lays it out a little bit for you better. But anyways, that's just basically the breakdown of finishing up lesson 2, which your module 2, which your quizzes are due today, and module 3. So remember, there's no live class next Monday, but I will be sending out a recorded class to you, so we can kind of keep pace by the end of the block. Because the end of the block just is like the middle of October, so this class is really quick. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop the recording right now, and then I'm going to stay on for any questions that you may have. So let me just stop the recording, and then
Recording stopped.
please ask any